Touhou's weird. Thanks, obvious captain of the obvious. I don't really know too much about it except for Toby Fox being inspired by its music and Substep Mania beat maps. Memes. Oh, and art too. Oh, and this game that I just bought.
Subscribe, by the way!
Touhou Luna Nights is a Metroidvania taking place in the world of Gensokyo. Or not, this stuff's weird, man. One of the main problems that reared its head was how confused I was by the presentation of the story. All of these characters speak like Homestuck characters. Not in the way that they type with a 2 instead of an S, but in the way that all they do is reference other events and characters in a way that feels like it was specifically made to annoy you. I might just have a bit of an issue with Homestuck. Lots of dialogue typically doesn't bother me, but I am impatient as all hell. And when the characters feel like they're constantly saying inside jokes to a story I wasn't there for, I tune out. But they sometimes actually say things that are important to the gameplay, and sometimes it comes to a head at the final boss, and I feel a bit cheated, but we'll get to that. Let's talk about the gameplay. Okay, so check this out. That is so cool! So this game's main mechanics have to do with manipulating time. You can slow down time by holding down your attack button for a set period of time, and there's a button to stop time completely. But you gotta be careful. While in time stop, when you move, you lose your time meter, and you can only use a certain number of knives at a time. Oh yeah, your main weapon is a set of knives if that wasn't already established. I don't know if it's like this in the later Castlevania games or in Touhou in general, but all of your attacks are dictated by an MP meter, and almost all of your power-ups are weapons, except for the ever so majestic jump knife, which doubles as a weapon.
But Londe, how are you supposed to keep attacking when your main way of attacking is—
I'm glad you asked. Well, this game also has a mechanic called grazing. You see, when you get close to an enemy or an enemy projectile, you will gain a little bit of health and MP as a kind of aggression encourager. It encourages aggression. I don't know why I phrased it like that. You would think that during time stop you wouldn't gain any benefits, but no. Stopping time is encouraged by you gaining an increased number of MP from every enemy and more time so you can move around more. The only trade-off is that you no longer gain health from grazing. Also, the radius for collecting graze is increased, and you're still not overpowered. Although I was excited while learning about all of these mechanics, I was getting scared that they would all collapse onto one another and just become a mess of an experience. But I started to get this game way more as soon as I encountered the bosses. That's right, this is one of those boss rush kind of games where the gameplay shines with its one-on-one fights against the many anime girls of Touhou. Seriously, what is this series about? I love how all of the mechanics and weapons come into full swing in the boss fights. These battles consist of the player managing their offense to drain into the opponent while grazing incoming fire to keep attacking. It's not enough to merely dodge. You have to look cool while doing it. However, the regular enemies aren't like the bosses in the way that I don't like them. But Londe, how are you able to heavily praise an action game but not like most of the enemies that create most of the action? I mean, you can just stop time. Thank you for letting me finish this time, by the way. No problem, dude. And to that I say, I see what you're saying, but the enemies themselves deal contact damage. And most of the enemies in the game don't even shoot projectiles. If you wanted to graze a Tanuki, one of the first enemies, you would have to be extremely precise to get close and hit it twice before it can hit you once. But by that time, it will most likely walk into you if you grazed it already, discouraging grazing in the beginning of the game. Couple this with the fact that you get knocked back every time you're hit, and enemies reset upon entering a screen, and you get exchanges such as this. Whoever designed the mandrake, screw you. Whoever designed the purple wisps, screw you too. And whoever designed the rooms with the fish and the tanukis with rocket launchers, I hope you know the same pain that I felt on the way to Reimu. Honestly, the enemy placement is what gets me the most. It's the fact that most of these enemies are put in irritating places half the time, but the other half, they're mixed together in a way that makes the platforming challenges of the game engaging, and not in the rip my hair out kind of way. Exploring and platforming in this game are some of my favorite activities next to fighting the bosses, and using time stop. Oh yeah! Time stop isn't just for cleaning enemies and fighting fellow anime girls, it's also a tool used for platforming. Around a quarter way through the game, you gain the ability to step on knives when you throw them during time stop, which you can use in a ton of different ways. But also, different colored objects and enemies react differently to time stop, and the game does a lot with this mechanic. But this game also has another mechanic that just I get that this is a fan game, and therefore the story will most likely stem from Touhou itself, but I don't even know how you're even supposed to play these games, let alone learn the plot. You see, almost all of this game's mechanics are explained using these signposts placed around the mansion, with the exception of saving, the level up system, and crystals. Nitori tells you about how you can sell her the crystals you get from enemies in order to obtain gold, and then you use that gold to buy health and upgrades. You already have a leveling system, so it seems like these crystals are useless. So why not sell all of these crystals all of the time? Well, because crystals also serve as stat upgrades. She tells you that crystals make you stronger in exchange. Okay nerds, I have to admit something. I'm not very good at listening. I never would have guessed. I can be incredibly impatient in general. I guess it comes with that whole ADHD thing I have. Since I was also playing a fan game in a series I know nothing about, I skimmed the dialogue incredibly quickly, and that's just my fault there. But I still feel that the inconsistency in the explanation of important mechanics in an obscure fan game for the sake of a twist final boss is still unfair. During these cutscenes though, I get to appreciate the visuals a bit more, and jeez, they're the reasons I wanted to play this game. The animation here is slick, and almost all of the audio feedback for all of your actions is just excellent. Every time I stop time makes me feel like, bisexual vampire man from series that shall not be named. And dude, the music! Almost every track is a hit. I was humming half the time I was playing this game, which is the main reason why my audio is practically unusable.
And these vending machines look like Among Us.
Probably. The only other huge problem I can think of with this game is that it's extremely short. Why are they screaming when I'm recording? My run of the main game plus the extra stage, yeah, that there's post-game content, was about 7 hours, and that includes me grinding for crystals after my grave mistake. I'm looking forward to Team Ladybug's next project, and hope that if they find this video, I spouted anything that was meaningful to them. If you like Metroidvanias, Touhou, or don't want to sink too much time into a game, aka if you like speed running, I recommend this game wholeheartedly. Post-video commentary. Yeah, it's been a bit. A lot just sort of happened. The past half year's been destructive. My computer decided to die. That was fun. But this whole end of the video spiel is to say that I have a Twitch channel. Go follow my Twitch if you want more Lawn Day antics. Also subscribe. Not enough people are subscribed, you know. Just go play video games or something. I don't know what you people do. Bye. Have a good one.